Hey, welcome in, everybody. Jason Matheny here from the mothership here in Houston. Terry Cushman packing his bags, about to head west to Washington State for the first time ever for you.
Yeah. Yeah, never been there, never connected in an airport there, nothing.
Okay.
So,
You,
can't
you
wait.
flying
Land
into, go ahead,
Seattle. Yeah.
Seattle? Okay, yeah. Not much going on in Seattle right now. So I was thinking about this, and for those who don't know, and this is a show I'm sure a lot of people listen to afterwards. Last night there was a baseball game in the Seattle Mariners, which might be the most cursed franchise in sports. It's got to be up there. They're the only baseball team that's never made the World Series, and they lose like this god awful, like I mean, it's depending on your perspective, right, great or terrible baseball game. And I was thinking of how to relate that to cribbage, and what I was thinking of is like, do you have like a single devastating loss that just sticks in your craw, like one that you remember that is just like gut wrenching that you'll remember forever? And if so, like right, misery is good for the show. Like relive it for us all. But
Two. One of them was in Omaha, Nebraska. It was the midweek to the Grand National 2015, which you ended up winning.
what was it, that the one that happened? Okay, yeah, go
Yeah.
on. Yes, yep.
And I was in the Final Four playing against Haley Hintz, and it was a tough, brutal match. That was the very beginning, the earliest months of my teardown, where I went from the most defensive guy in the room to the most aggressive guy in the room. Just a drastic pivot. And we're in game five, and Haley's better than me, and still probably is. But definitely back then, and I knew that as the match was playing, and I was just scrapping for everything. And I had a comfortable lead halfway down Third Street in the fifth game. Pam Pomeroy was in the finals, waiting for us to wrap up, and Haley gets a 21 hand, I decent crib maybe, and then on Fourth Street she's 15 or 16 out, cuts into 17. So it was like the most abrupt collapse I've had in a big playoff game anyway, and she got me. So that was brutal. And then one more was against Dave Campbell. That was also a game five, and he must have been, I think, 18 out. Pone. I'm dealing and I'm ahead of him, so I'm not worried about too much here. And he's holding ace, ace, deuce, three, cuts an ace for 15. I was holding 9, 10, 10, jack, and I couldn't defend against the aces. Like, he was going to get them in the end, no matter what. And he did, and had just enough to go out. That was also a huge gut punch, but my two worst losses ever.
Those are rough ones. I feel like for me, the worst ones, the ones that I remember, are the ones where like I made an error or I got outplayed rather than like I got like outcut. The one that will stick in my craw for a long time, and I try to like embrace it, is I was playing Terry Weber in the playoffs in an event, and it was game four. I was up 2-1, and I was dealing from like, I think I was like six out, maybe five out. I don't remember the exact numbers. At some point I did. I think I tried to like Men in Black, like erase it from my memory.
Did neuralizer.
But yeah, just get rid of it. And I think he was 10 out, and he came way back to get to 10 out. And we go to cut the deck, and we cut a three, and he leads a two. And I had just like random cards in my hand, and one of my cards was a two. I kind of thought about it and thought about it. I'm like, well, the three cut. And so I paired it, and he ended up having 2299. Right. So the three didn't help him at all. And he tricked me. I give him credit. Like he made a good move. Like, and I think I should have just stayed away. I had other things I could have held in different ways, but that's the one that will stick in it for me. Is just, just grit your teeth. And, all right, good game. Like, could have had that one, but did not.
For the longest time, and I still don't have great numbers against him. Last time we squared off in the playoffs, he beat me in a game 5. Nothing dramatic. He just straight up beat me. But the thing about my 2 matches though that I should mention is I was like major hardcore underdog in both of them. And
Mhm.
so you like it gets more emotional the closer I am to possibly winning
Right.
and then to blow it, you know. And the other thing about Campbell, I think I played him in at least 4 or 5 playoff matches, no more than that, but it was a handful. Every single time it went to the clinching game, and every single time he beat me.
Wow. Yeah,
It
Dave.
was just yeah.
REP Hall of Famer, but Dave was very, very good. I remember he had the left-handed cut. That was his big thing. I remember seeing him once, like our mutual friend Crystal Shear. Like he pulled like a miracle cut with the left-handed cut. And Chris always says it cost him Rookie of the Year back in the day, and that
That's
whatever he
great.
did like cost him like enough qualifying points or qualifying and whatever the event was. And he says he would have been Rookie of the Year had that happened. So yeah, so devastating. And you play long enough, you're going to have some brutal losses, and it's interesting whether it be in grassroots or just in tournaments. People's bad beats, rough losses, whatever you want to call it, the ones that stick with them, whether it is, right, oh, they cut the one card in the deck, or if it's, you know what, I misplayed that. I should have played this on that. I didn't. And I feel like to me, those are the ones like I'm not gonna like it if somebody cuts to 24 out against me and gets it. But I can't control that. Like I can control the pegging. I can control the moves that I make, at least I should say. So but yeah, cribbagepodcast at gmail.com to send along your stories of misery, your bad beats. Keep them somewhat brief and we'll read them off for future episodes. I know we all have them. I don't think you'd ever told me that story about the Final Four with you and Haley. I have a good Haley Hintz story for another episode. I don't want to take over this show. We got a lot in front of us, but okay. And by the way, like with Washington coming up for you, like so you're playing in the what's it called again? Like the Long Beach Classic,
I think it's called the ACC World Championships actually, and
Okay, all right.
you win the belt. And I'm not sure about the Friday one. I think this is the first year they're doing one because that was the deal last year when we had them on for the first time. I I said, hey, I'll go, but you got to put a Friday one in front of it. And then they came up to me in Reno and said, hey, we did it. We put a Friday one. So I was like, all right, I'm
Right. Yeah.
going.
Now you're in. Now you're in. All right.
I'm
Well, have a
committed.
blast out there. Bring home a trophy. Like I look forward to you. If you win it, you should wear the belt on the plane.
I will.
Be that guy. Be that guy.
That belt will be the most publicized thing in the ACC for a year. It's going to every tournament. Trust me. I'll I'll put that tournament like big time on the map if I leave with the belt.
Okay. All right. Good to know. I always remember hearing stories. Like I think we both had stages where we would watch professional wrestling. I remember
Uh-huh.
hearing stories about how the wrestlers had to take the belts with them, like when they travel, which always seemed weird to me. You'd think you'd have it like stored away or whatever it is, but like they don't trust it in their luggage, right? Because if the luggage gets lost, so they just have to like have it on them like in the airport and stuff like that. And that always seemed like weird to me. Like I feel like I would hate that.
Well, it could more easily attract attention if you're a top guy, and you probably would be if you had a belt. So
I mean, I'm pretty sure almost any wrestler, all those guys tend to be gigantic and really, really like easily spotted in the first place. But yeah, so all right, yeah. So bring home a belt, have fun, safe travels, all that good stuff. You gonna do any like silly like Seattle stuff while you're there? Go to the Space Needle or go, I don't know, go catch a fish or something at the market. Pikes Peak, I think is the name of that one.
well, the first night I'm just gonna book it to Long Beach. I'm renting a car and it's a 3-hour drive. But on the way back, I mean, I could conceivably be done mid morning playing cribbage on Sunday, and my flight is until midnight. So I do plan on I don't know, at least grabbing a bite somewhere that looks interesting and I don't know what kind of mischief I'll get into beyond that.
Okay. All right. Well, I look forward to hearing the stories. Speaking of grabbing a bite, got the fantasy draft this week. As ooh, I hear a dog in Terry's background, and I
Yeah.
have to acknowledge, by the way, because we're just living life. A couple episodes ago, apparently my cat was screeching at the door and made his guest appearance on the program. But I feel like it's just the life we all lead now with like pets and things like that. But I did want to acknowledge like that apparently in one of these episodes my cat was just wailing at the door, and because I'm wearing these headphones I heard nothing of it. So hopefully that does not happen in the future. My buddy Emmett, my big dumb orange cat Emmett, will not make any unscheduled appearances. Maybe we'll have a pet show at some point. Like what is it? You got like Fenway is your dog's name or something? I know you had some sort of Boston name for it.
Yeah, Fenway is we still got him. He's 14 and a half. I think his
Wow.
hearing is going, but that's about the only thing wrong with him. I mean, he still jumps up and off the bed. We bought him some steps for the bed just in case,
Oh, the
but he
doggy steps.
he
Yeah, you don't
doesn't
need them.
he doesn't use them. Yeah. And then Beckett was a stray. He's also named after Josh Beckett, the ace from the
Mm-hmm.
2007 season.
Sure.
And yeah, and he's luckily no major issues with him. The only weird quirk was he wouldn't poop in the yard, so we had to like walk him to get him to do it. I don't know. I think he probably was abused in whatever his first home
No,
was, but
that's
this
awful. That's awful.
yeah, this other family took him in and but they couldn't keep him and they had him for about a week and a half and I saw the Facebook post and thought I'd give it a shot and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, pets are great, and like I hear stories from cribbage players of their pets and things that happen with those. But yeah, we both have our little pet situations, so no unscheduled appearances. Okay, all right. So to the fantasy draft, and we're gonna do appetizers this week. And for me, when I'm picturing this category, it's you're at a restaurant, maybe it's like a generic family restaurant type of thing, like all these things. What are you ordering as an app? And I don't know if you are this way, but I am a big fan of doing like a couple of small plates just instead of an entree. Right, just get a couple of appetizers or get a couple of small plates. Like I think that's my favorite way to like dine at a restaurant, especially if it's a place I don't really know. Right, you don't really know what's good. You get a couple of different things. Hopefully one of them is good. And I feel like some of these that I have written down here are, they're pretty hard to miss with.
Okay. I typically do get an entree, but there have been a couple of times where it was an out of my comfort zone place. I took one for the team essentially, and I did get a couple appetizers to, um, you know, as a meal, I guess.
Okay. So, all right, we'll do four of these. Well, probably not too much analysis on this because it's food. It's all subjective. You got a coin handy? I'm still on the
Yeah.
hunt for the nickel of fate.
All
So,
right.
uh, I'm gonna call it tails this time.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Here we go. It is heads.
it's man. I can't. That's like I'm gonna start keeping track.
All
That's
right. I
that's
tell
at
you what.
least three in a row that I've missed here.
I'll defer on this one, so
Okay.
you can decide.
All right, yeah, I'll take the first one.
All right.
To me, there is a clear first one. It's a lovely appetizer. It's mozzarella sticks, right? You can do no wrong. It's fried cheese. Like, I think the only time it's bad is if it's the stuff that's clearly frozen, throw it in the fryer. But even those are still good. Yeah, like I don't think I can go wrong with a giant ball of fried cheese. Some marinara sauce would be nice, but yeah, mozzarella sticks to me are the easy first pick of the appetizer draft. It's the clear cut first one.
You sniped me, but that would have been my last pick if it was still available.
Okay.
All right. So with my first one, this is the fanciest one on my list.
I'm so interested in what this is now. If you're calling it the fanciest one, all right, what you got?
Bacon wrapped scallops.
Oh, okay, all right.
My
I
favorite.
to me sometimes scallops are tricky because they have to be cooked like just right.
They do.
But yeah, they're good. And being a northeasterner, right? Like, I assume it's better there. The scallops off the Atlantic coast. I don't really know much about scalloping, if you will.
Yeah, I would say anywhere in New England, you're gonna get the real thing, let's call it. And,
Okay.
my dad and I spent a week up in Maine in August, and, I forget where we went, a steakhouse up in, it's called it's a steakhouse, but they call it the Stock House, actually, and up in Windham, Maine, and, we got a side of those, before our meal came out, and he likes them too. It's probably how I got introduced to him.
Do you want the bacon real thick on that, or do you want it more like thin and crispy? I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll eat them anyway, but I prefer that the bacon isn't too crispy, actually.
Okay, all right. I don't call that blasphemy. Like I'm more of a crispy bacon type, but I can respect it. It's don't want the scallop to be too like cooked in the way anyway. So right, okay. All right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then
Consider me impressed. Like I take back all the laugh that I had about, oh, here comes a fancy one that Terry's gonna pick potato chips or something. Like
no. No, and my second one on the list, I'll just call it loaded nachos.
okay, all right, that's a good pick. That was on my list for sure. That was not going to get it back to you.
Okay.
What do you? Is there anything? You're the pickier of the two of us. Is there anything you don't like on your nachos?
I don't like sour cream or guac.
Okay.
Um, but any type of salsa, any type of meat, any type of cheese, um, you could throw in. Oh, jalapenos, I'll have on them. So there's probably a handful of things, not off the top of my head, that I would put in them, but I would say salsa, meat, and cheese have to be on it for sure.
Okay. My preferred way to do that one, and not a lot of places do that, but when it's each chip is like individually dressed. And there's some like Tex-Mex places, and I'm in Houston, right? It's kind of Tex-Mex
Right.
ground zero places that will do that, and that is really really good.
Okay.
So like if you get the giant mound of it, and it's like I feel like there's like 8 chips with all the stuff on it, and then there's 10,000 chips below with nothing. It doesn't, that can
It
be.
can, yeah.
They said that was like a thing when you're dating. Like if your date takes the chip with all the stuff on it, like it's bad sign,
Oh, okay.
right?
I don't know if I'll ever need that information, but it's definitely stored in there now.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. All right, so I got the next two here, and you know what? I'm gonna take the soft pretzel.
Oh,
Big fan of the
okay.
the big soft pretzel with if you get some mustard, maybe a cheese dip, stuff like that. That's soft pretzels are lovely. And I'm gonna go with a little strategery here in that the one that I would pick in this spot, I can't really imagine you selecting in 100 million years. So I'm gonna wait on that one, just push a little bit later. And what do I want on this one? I'm just gonna take wings. Like we
Okay.
kind of talked about this one before, but just a good wing. I don't like them overly sauced. Like in fact, I like them the best if they are unsauced or like a dry
Like a
situation.
rub.
Yeah, like a rub or sometimes like a. I don't like Hooters, but like Hooters wings, a lot of times they'll have the ones where they're the wings and they're like fried, so it's like fried chicken, but it's just the wings. Those are pretty good. So, but yeah, I don't like feel like I have to take a bath after I've eaten like an appetizer. Like it's your hands are all messy. A little wet app doesn't do anything for it, but I would say wings, and I would say specifically actual wings with bones in them, not this abomination that they call boneless wings. There's nothing wrong with chicken nuggets, folks, but they are not wings. So just
I like salt and vinegar wings. That's more of a rub type thing.
okay. Yeah,
That's a
that's a
good
good
one.
pick. I don't
Yeah.
like salt and vinegar chips, but to me it works a little better on a wing.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. So you got two in a row here, and then I got one more.
Okay, let's see. So my next one is going to be a rather simple one, which is onion rings.
Okay.
It's just something about the oily and the crunch. I don't know. It just hits the spot.
I had the bloomin' onion on my list, which is kind of the same thing but different.
Yeah, same
Yeah, but
texture type thing. Yeah.
yeah, onion rings, if they're right, they are real, real good, right? Like sometimes you get ones that are bad, too much batter, too much this, that. But yeah, I would agree. When they're right, they're good.
Yep. And then the last one, I will go with quesadillas.
Oh, okay. I didn't think about that, but that's a good one. Is like an app, just chicken, steak, anything.
Either would be fine.
Okay.
And then cheese, obviously.
Yeah, anything with a bunch of bread and cheese, right? It's going to be a good thing.
Yep.
So yeah, no complaints on that one. All right, for my last one, I'm going to take spinach artichoke dip. Um, yeah, and I get the look from Terry.
Well, that's a bad
See,
one.
I knew there was no way in 100 million years you were going to select that one. Um, but a good spinach artichoke dip will just it's you get the nice usually tortilla chips. Sometimes you get like fresh bread or whatever it is, but it's creamy. And you feel like you're getting your vegetables in, right? Like everything on my list is kind of like fried or not the healthiest of things. Not that listen, let's be honest, the ratio of cream and cream cheese and cheese to the actual vegetables within that, not a lot, but just make myself feel a little better about where things are. Have you had it, or is that a ew, I would never try it? I'm just no
I
judgment, just question.
Yeah, I don't think I have, but it just doesn't sound good.
It's that I'm never going to be that guy that's going to make you try something, right? You're an adult human, you're allowed to make your own choices in life, but I think that like I think you're thinking it tastes more like spinach or artichokes than you really think. Just food for thought there. Okay. Anything else on your list that you want to, like others receiving votes?
I don't really have any honorable mentions. I went with 5 of them. You took the mozzarella sticks, so
Yep.
I would have taken that one last, but
Okay.
yeah.
Anything fried or bread is a good thing. I don't know if it counts as an appetizer, but the cheddar bay biscuits that they throw out on the table at Red Lobster when you first go there are lovely.
Sounds
Um,
good, but I've never had it.
yeah, I mean Red Lobster's trash, especially now it's owned by like private equity. It's not going to be good anymore, but like it's. But those are really good. Really, any kind of like bread and olive oil at like a good Italian place. Crab cakes, I feel like are kind of your kind of steakhouse appetizer kind of thing. What else? Garlic fries. Oh, if you find a place that has good garlic fries as an appetizer, just wonderful. So, all right, now I'm all hungry, and now we actually have to talk about other things than food. Let's hit the mailbag really quick here. Um, heard from it's funny, the email shows up and this one came from test coordinator, and the reason why is that's Sally Henderson, who reaches out and says, hey Jason, I'm gonna have to pick on you for picking on pickleball. I've played weekly for 8 years and I'm betting you are way off. There are only about 50, 60 ACC members who play. Many of us gave up tennis as pickleball is more fun, easy to drop in and find games, and inexpensive. The sport has gotten so big that it's being taught in schools now. High schools and colleges have teams, and it's going to be an Olympic sport in 2028, possibly, or 2032, most likely. Huge tournaments all around the nation, and Grand Rapids is a hot spot for them. She says she's been an announcer for them, and they have the largest one, which included Major League Pickleball teams broadcast on ESPN2 with a $250,000 purse and 1,300 teams. So try it, you might like it. So, um,
Yeah, so it's funny because in Winston-Salem in May, that was Keith Widener's tournament. There was a guy in the lobby just asking questions about what our group was and all that. We were explaining cribbage, and he had just finished playing pickleball. Like he was in his, outfit still. And this was a guy who was like in phenomenal shape. He was probably right around 60, but he looks like he's a marathon runner, does tons of endurance stuff, but he swears by pickleball. And he was saying, even though there's not a lot of, like foot movement type stuff like in tennis, he's like, there is an art to it. And so I don't know what we're missing, but it's a big thing apparently.
I'm not saying it's unskilled, right? And there's certainly physicality to it. In fact, I heard a stat that it's the sport with the most injuries, just from the number of players playing it, if that makes any sense, right? Like the most number of injuries in the U.S. are due to pickleball than any other sport, just
Okay.
because the sheer volume of people playing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I don't mean to shit on pickleball. Like it's fine. Like I think I would prefer to still play tennis, but there's this skill to it. And Sally is right. It is definitely like easier to find, I would think, nowadays than like a full on tennis court. So yeah, all right, nothing wrong with pickleball. That's yeah, maybe I'll then $250,000 for a prize. I need to like warm up my arm, like get myself going here.
Yeah, I'd be open to doing it. I played quite a bit of tennis in my 20s, and
Okay.
probably paid for it a little bit. It's rough on your knees, like big time. The abrupt stops and turns,
I played a little tennis too in my day. Never like in school or anything like that. Just on the side. I wonder who would win a tennis match between us. We need like a cribbage, like we need like a grudge match, like at some point, right?
Well, I mean, if you do Columbia next spring, we could probably work it out, or maybe even Raleigh area.
Yeah, something like that. Find a nice, especially when the weather's okay and it's not 10. That's the biggest reason why it's so hard to anything down here. It's 10,000 degrees. Like, so, like I walked a little bit today. I walked literally to like the grocery store because there's one like maybe 7 or 8 blocks away. And it was just misery. Like by the time I was like at the end of it, especially because I like as you're buying things, you don't think about that you have to walk back with all of them. And so I didn't buy any like gallons of milk or anything like that. But it was like, that was, yeah, I probably could have overthought this.
I used to play this wealthy real estate developer guy, and I was a hotel bellboy, but we would play like at least twice a week, and we found a night court, like a lighted court. So
Mm-hmm.
we'd start our match and we do 5 sets. So that's
Oh,
length.
wow.
Yeah.
Writing checks on my butt cannot cash here. 5 sets. Yeah. I got none of that for you.
Well, I wouldn't do 5 at this. That was in my 20s when I was in really good shape. But yeah, I mean, we could do a couple sets probably. But yeah. But anyway, we would play at night. It'd be a 3 or 4 hour match, and it was just so much fun. And we were so evenly matched is what made it really fun. But yeah, I miss it.
Were you somebody who was, we both have like competitive juice to us, right? That's a lot of the reason we play this card game and get so into it. But were you the type of person that like would yell or get mad or throw your racket or anything like that? Were you that guy?
Not like dramatically. I might drop an F bomb if I, over hit it or something, or
Mm-hmm.
just screwed up what should have been an easy shot. But I wouldn't say, I'd say I'm lower on that spectrum than most people.
All right, I'm writing down an idea for a future fantasy draft.
All right.
Like just filing that away. We'll save the rest of that for another episode, but we'll move on from this. Let's see. I've got a very long email here and I want to give it like proper time here from Jacob Zinicola. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. And he wanted to talk a lot about what you talked about with your crackpot idea of the week last week, right? Of some of the grassroots ideas. And you know what? I'm just going to put a pin in this one because I want to give this email like this almost should be its own episode. But so Jacob, thank you for the email. We will be sure to get back to that. What is it? We also mentioned non-traditional trophies last week, and Robert Milk checked in and sent a picture, a really nice picture. In fact, I'll share the screen here. Let's see if I can do this without screwing it up, of his trophies from the Roadrunner event, which is a very, very nice event. I actually have one of these sitting on my little little mantle here, and that doesn't look very good with us in there. So we're going to make this work. But
Try it. You let me do it.
Here we go. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. But yeah. So lovely little like roadrunners, cacti, and the little I don't know the little birds. I have like the smallest one of those because I lost the consolation to Bob in the final. And so I think the smallest one of those on the table is one of those. That's mine. It almost looks like it's got a little friendship bracelet on it. This is a cute little trophy. I don't mind those at all.
So the glass cactuses, I actually have one from 2023. I was high qualifier on I think the Friday main though, so the one day, and it's even though it's not a tournament win, it's still one of the coolest trophies in my trophy case, I would say. Bob does a real good job.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a good tournament for anybody in that area. I'd recommend going. I think I'm going to go again this year, and I'm going to bring some Houstoners with me. I think we're going to do an Airbnb type of thing, something like that. So
sounds like fun.
Yeah. If you think about it, I see if I can, get you in on the list.
Well, it's funny because I haven't told a lot of people this. I don't even know if I've told you this, but my boss sold the company 2 weeks ago, and it's a tiny company. There's only 3 of us drivers, so we're all safe. It's not like they're going to downsize. But if the personality thing doesn't work, I could easily fall back on my Uber for a while, and that would free up the Roadrunner. Because that's in late January, early February.
Yeah. I think it's literally the weekend that kind of covers both of those. So
yeah, because I can make $200 to $400 a night doing Uber. So
do they let you Uber like anywhere? Like as in, you live in South Carolina. If you were visiting Phoenix, could you Uber out there?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I was always curious about little elements in that. I guess they need to know the car.
Well, I think the part of the important thing is for some reason your license you have to be working in the state that your license is. And I'm the last county before the North Carolina line. And I can go into North Carolina if the ride starts in South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay. So that must make it crappy when you drop somebody off and then you can't catch another ride out there.
Yeah. It's not terrible. It could be as much as a 30-minute ride back till I get to the line. And it might give me a call before I get to the line if it's on the South Carolina side. So if I'm within 8 minutes, they'll still give me the call, and then eventually I'll get over the line.
Okay. Good to know. All right, one other email here. It's from Bestie Wanda, and she says, "Hello, Bestie and Terry. Hi, Bestie. Hope y'all are doing well. Deadwood, Grand National. Loved it. Now I want to go to all the tournaments. Also, thanks, Jason. Nearly everyone called me Bestie Wanda. I do love when our little nicknames take off. She said, Voldemort and Doogie were awesome and are now my mentors. I've been sending them hands, and Doogie has been watching my stream and giving me pointers. So while I am still and always will be hashtag Team Bestie Jason, I also have to say I'm hashtag Team Voldemort and hashtag Team Doogie. Well, that's a quick way to get thrown out of hashtag Team Jason. Team Voldemort or Team Doogie. And she also threw a hand in here, which we're going to cover on there as well. So let me get to the actual. I have to reshare the screen because we jumped off script here. There we go. And
so we want the bottom one.
There you go. Hey, all right, we can mostly see that. We'll make this work. So all right, so and I believe this is the Bestie Wanda hand here because they go in the reverse order we submit them. So while Terry works on the sizing here, I will explain the numbers. So you are first count in hole 56. Your opponent is dealing in hole 49. And Terry Cushing Jr., you are dealt the hand of 5, 6, 7, 7, 8 queen. So this is one of those good problem to have situations, but bad problem. Sometimes in spots like these, I almost want just give me a dead hand, right? That I can just throw King 10 from. But this is one of these, it's a thinker. So any strong opinions here?
Um, Not really. I mean, it's a quick 5 queen toss for me.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think aggression is the name of the game here, right? You're holding the guaranteed 12 with cuts of up to 24. Um, and assuming you get even a piece of this, you're going to easily hit the 70 mark that you need to in order to get where you need to get to here. But it's to me, this is kind of a full steam ahead kind of spot anyway. So yeah, I think Queen 5 here without a lot of hesitation. I remember this throws me back to a playoff match I had, I think in Deadwood, not the Grand National, but the one previously. And I had a spot like this, and I don't remember the specific. I think the cards were instead of the queen, it was a four, right? So it was 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, queen, and I remember I was playing Chad Frischman and Kendra was watching me, and I threw it pretty fast. I just threw the 4 or 5. I was like, okay, easy choice, right? And she asked me about it after, and it was one of those where it ended up going really, really wrong. Like I think we caught like a 4, and Chad had like a zillion in his crib and ended up beating me. But yeah, in these spots, I tend to just go with aggression, right? It's the Matheny like big hand theory of like you only get so many opportunities in a match to just blow up the game. Take them when you can. So
Yeah, if she was like way up, let's say she was in the 62 hole, I might be able to chuck 8 queen away. But
hmm.
yeah, it's so drastic of a lead right now, and you're almost automatically in position, and you can almost end the game if you smash the cut.
Yeah, it's one of those where I think people get a little too wrapped up in the things that can go wrong and kind of forget about the things that can go right. And it's like spots like this, right? 56-49. You can lose here really, really easily. Like, but I bet it's a lot easier to lose if you break your hand in this spot. So, okay. All right, moving forward. So the next hand here, I don't remember. This is a Terry hand, so I'm gonna let you intro this one.
It's the only one I really had that was interesting this week, but all right. So you're in the uncomfortable position of dealing in the 98 hole. Your opponent is dangerously close to going out at 111. It is your crib, and you have ace 5 5 6 9 king. So again, that's ace 5 5 6 9 king.
Hmm. At first, when I saw this pop up on the screen, I thought this was a pretty easy toss, right? Hold the 6 points, throw the 6 9. But I find myself leaning a little closer to at least considering 9 ace here and holding 5 5 6 king, because in this spot, even if you hold your opponent short, you need something special to happen here, right? You need it to at least get out into range where you can peg out the next hand, if not just deal out with these two hands. And I just don't really see a lot of routes to that happening if you throw the 6 9. Yeah, I think I'm throwing 9 ace here. I don't love it, but I think it's the most direct route to potentially win in this game. You've got a magic 11, so that way if your opponent plays a face, right, like you can potentially hold them to 0 pegs, right? If they play the face, you play the 5 here, I think, in this spot. Then you hope they play another face, and then you play your 6. And chances are they're not going to get any holes here. So I think 9 ace is what I like here.
I honestly didn't consider 9 ace, which is a decent throw. I actually went with king 5 and
Wow. Okay.
just tried to load the crib. I mean, you cut a 4, I'd have a 9 point hand with still potential for 6 to 9 in the crib, and I could peg if I had to. I don't know how aggressive you want to be right away. I guess it depends on their lead card in relation to what was cut, but I don't know. I just thought I was essentially still loading the crib and had a number of ways to play it after that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't love that one. I think that I would throw 6 9 before I threw face 5 there. Right, 6 9 can blow up in the crib, especially because your opponent could be throwing anything from that spot. But I'm open to the idea. Like Just curious, how did it end? Right, results don't justify method. Did they just get out from 10 out anyway?
They didn't. I think we were both within 2 or 3 from the end, and then I got beat, unfortunately.
Oh, bummer, bummer. Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So, being that you said you didn't really think about the nine ace, and for the record, right, nine ace is because I want a giant hand there, right? Like I feel like I need to cut a 4 or 7 to really have, or a king to really have much of a chance to get out. Does that change your mind at all, or you said you didn't really think about that one?
I still prefer mine, but yours would probably be my second choice, I would say. And a lot of it would be the pegging value, as you kind of outlined.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, so that is keeping score here. That's one agree and one disagree so far. So
Okay.
as we jump to next hand here. All right, this is one of these kind of similar. It's as I submitted this one. So it's I feel like an unusual spot. So you are first count in hole 7. Your opponent is dealing in hole 2. So that's not 2 out. That's so clearly we both had some very very strong hands to start. And let me make sure I'm writing this one down, looking at the picture that I took of it. So this is one that I took off a Cribbage Pro. I want to make sure that it was, yeah, it's to the opponent's crib. Okay. So ace 55669. Yeah, it's just one of those that happened. I was like, well, yes, no, well, eh. So what do you think in this spot?
I would just keep the 2 pair, honestly. 5 5 6 6. I don't hate 5 ace, honestly, but I I think where I have a decent, and well, I shouldn't call it a decent lead, but they had such a start to only be in the 2 hole, and I'm probably gonna cut into 8 here, most likely, eh, barring completely bricking it. Um, but yeah, I'll keep the 2 pair.
Okay. I think that's the way to do this one. There's not really a way that I love 6 points here, right? 5 ace. I don't feel great about that. I feel it's fine, right? And certainly I don't think sixes is the order of the day here. All right, hold the 5 5 6 6. Try to bust a game open, see what happens. And what is it? I think there's only 4 cuts that don't get you to at least 8. I think the ace, 2, 3, and 8 are the only ones that don't get you at least there. Like everything else is going to at least get you to 8 points. So it's seems like the way to go there. All right. So another boring agreement. Ho hum. All right. So here's another one. So I kind of had to make up the spot here because I forgot to screenshot this, but this is to me a hand that I'm sure I don't know if there's a hand in cribbage that people haven't discussed to a point, but I remember being in a spot where I kind of needed some points. So I said it as you are first count in hole 89. Your opponent is dealing in hole 90. And the hand is 2, 3, 4, 9, 9, 10. Tricky,
Yeah.
right? It's a thinker of a spot. And there's really that to me, there's only 2 roads to consider here, but I think both of them have their merits.
Yeah, I mean, 9 10 doesn't scare me, but I'd have to keep deuce 4 9 9 here and throw 10 3.
Just one extra point.
Yeah, and it's safer, and if you get stuck only getting to the 95 hole, you're not super into position, but I think that's still, at least for my aggressive style, it's still a manageable spot.
So I think 9 10 is the throw in this spot. I want that to me, there's just more cuts to hit, right? So like 2, 3, 4, 9. There's only one cut in the deck that doesn't help it. Now, granted, the 5 cut's a pretty bad cut from that spot. It only helps you 1 point, but that's the only cut that only adds 1 point. And then the 7 is the only cut that doesn't get you past 5. I'm willing to live with that. Right, everything else gets you to at least 7, and I feel like 2, 3, 4, 9 probably pegs pretty well, right? Like you can make a case to lead the 9. I think you probably the 3 is the lead there. But I think in this spot, I like 2, 3, 4, 9 a little bit better. Again, I wish I had screenshotted the actual position, but this is, to me, I think this is about where it was.
Okay. I mean, if you cut a deuce or a 4, you're gonna have, with my hold, you'll still have 12. If you cut a
It's good
3,
either way, right?
you'd
Yeah.
have 9. So that's why I don't know. None of the face cards help it like they would with your hold, but I guess
So
I'm just. Or
do
go
do
ahead.
you lead the, sorry, if you hold the 6 points, hold 2, 4, 9, 9, right, and you cut a face card, say it's a king, right, something pretty neutral. What are you leading there? You leading the 4, I guess, or the 9? I mean, depends a little on the opponent, but there's just not like a pegging route that I'm really happy with there.
It doesn't peg well. You're right. I probably would lead the 9 and just hope to score a couple, but I mean, I like leading the 4 a lot, but because people will play 9s on it, but where I already have 2 of them, I just don't feel great about it.
Okay.
So,
I
yeah.
did get a Voldemort lesson on this one once before, hands like these, and that there's a lot of power in making your opponent waste a card, right?
Okay.
So, say you're holding 2, 4, 9, 9. I really like you play the 4 if they play a face card, even if it's, it doesn't matter which face card it is. I play the 2 in hopes that they play another face card to 26, and then you have to say go, and then they play their 5, right? They get the 31, but then your 9s are pretty safe, and you lose that pegging 2-1 instead of, in some cases, 2-0 or 3-0 or 4-1, right? There's a lot of power in losing those pegging battles 1-2 rather than something else. So just a fair thought on that.
That's not a bad. Yeah, that's not a bad route, and there's still a slight chance you might even be able to run your 9s out on the other side for 3.
Yeah, it's right. They could easily have, I don't know, like a, I don't know, like 10-10-4 ace or something like that, right? Like there's some stuff they could be having there. So yeah,
An interesting thing, real quick, that he also taught me. I think he had the count at. Let's see, the count was 26, and it was his play, and he had a deuce 3-4 left over,
and you play the
and
4,
he
yes.
played the 4, yeah. And it was in a playoff game, and I was watching him. It was in the Grand National 2019 playoff game, and I was watching him, and I just thought for sure he's going to play the 3 to set up the 31, and then he played the 4, and I let the hand play out, and then I asked him, and he's like, "Well, I'm still going to get 2 goes. I'm still going
Mhm.
to get my 2. I'm just getting 1 before the go, and then 1 for last card by holding 2." And like that's probably one of my favorite things he's taught me, actually.
Yeah, it's I similar thing to this kind of story that I got. It's that aha moment where it clicked on and went, oh, okay, yeah, like, and the power of like squeezing, right, getting a point as non-dealer, or but more importantly, the importance of when you're dealing, getting those pegging sequences where you win at 3-0 or 2-0, and how important that is to keep them off the board. So okay. All right, moving on here before we go full fanboys here. All right, so this was from Grassroots over this weekend. By the way, weird thing, we had 8 people at Grassroots this weekend, and nobody scored. Just one of those weird little like statistical anomalies. Like,
I've heard of that happening, but I've never been playing in the group where it happened. Yeah,
mhm.
that's weird. Everybody was just painfully average.
Yeah, there were I think 2 11s and like 4 10s. So yeah, just a bizarre little set of consequences. Anyway, here's one that I had. So you are first count in hole 78. Your opponent is dealing in hole 68, and there is a flush at play here. So it was. I'll give you all the cards, and I'll give you the flush cards. So it's Ace 3, 4, 4, 9, Jack, and then the flush cards are Ace 3, 4, 9. So you're in hole 78, your opponent dealing at 68. Walk me through your thought process on this, Terry.
It's always attractive when you have a flush, but this one just doesn't play well enough for me. Ace 3, 4, 9 being the flush. You don't have a 15 in there. Inevitably, you will score at least 2 points on the cut.
Mhm.
And I just kind of would prefer to stay conventional here with Ace 4, 4, Jack. And if I can get a 15 or perhaps pair the Jack during the pegging, that would at least get me to the 90 hole. And 9-3, I mean, it's kind of hard to make that work. They'd have to throw a 3, 6, or a 9 to go with it. And being that they're in the 68 hole, I feel really good about keeping them short here. And I'm not really worried about getting hurt pegging with the Ace 4, 4, Jack, because I'm going to lead the 4. And it's possible maybe they could catch my ace on the end. Absolute worst case, they hit it with 2 aces, which would be terrible, but that's such a low percentage chance. So Ace 4, 4, Jack for me.
Okay. I do agree with the whole Ace 4, 4, Jack. I will mix in an ace lead in this spot. To me, it depends so much on my opponent because there are some people that are just so afraid of pairing that lead card. And so I feel like I can run them off the play if I play that ace with confidence sometimes in those spots. Again, depends on my opponent and their tendencies. If I feel like there's somebody that's possible to lead or not. But I do agree, kind of, right? When in doubt, hold the flush, except, right, in a spot like this. I think it's and you do get some flexibility here, right? Your first count in hole 78, and these kind of spots are where it's like skunk should be in your head just a little bit, right? It's unlikely you're going to close a skunk in this spot, but when you hold a hand like that, right? Okay, I'm thinking hold ace 4, 4, Jack, right? If I cut 10 or 12, squeeze a couple of pegs, 9-3 is not that great to my opponent's crib. That skunk all of a sudden is in play. So just something to think about in those spots because, right, as Ryan Gurdon once said, you always need a skunk. So, all right, move along here. See if we can find one to disagree on. All right, here's another weirdo. It's just, so you are first count in hole 11. Your opponent is dealing in hole 13. So this is another Cribbage Pro game that I had. Or no, I take it back. This was a club. Ace 3, 3, 5, 5, 10.
So my knee-jerk reaction thought was just hold the 2 pair, 3, 3, 5, 5. But after thinking about it for a millisecond more than that, I would probably throw ace 3 and keep the 3, 5, 5, 10 just for the easy shot at a double-digit hand here. You can get burnt with ace 3, but it's early enough in the game. I feel like I can overcome it. So 3, 5, 5, 10 for me.
Yeah, I agree with you here. Although I think at club I did it the other way, and kind of as I wrote it down, I was like, maybe this wasn't the play. Um, like with those kind of 2 pair hands, you get pretty banged up in the pegging depending on who you're playing, right? Like
You
if,
could.
especially if they are somebody sneaky enough, right? You lead a 3, they play something weird on it, like a 6 or a 4 or whatever it is, right? Things can get pretty ugly where you just don't have a great out in a spot. But yeah, I think for the logic that you're saying, right? Just hold, hold 3, 5, 5, 10. You cut any face, you got 10 points. Just move on from there. If you got a 4, kind of shrug your shoulders and be like, well, I still have 12 here, right? It's a good problem to have. So,
If you lead the 5, you could set up the 31, though. Give them the 15, then you drop the 3. Then they play the face. Then you hit the 31 and still have a 5 left over.
so you're saying if you hold the 3, 3, 5, 5.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Man,
so I would lead the 5.
no, I can't. I can't ride with you on that one. Like I
You don't like
understand your
that?
logic.
Okay.
I understand. It's one of those. It's like all right. It's a little diversion here. It's like the when I was first taught some of these traps, right? Like the 3, 4, 5, 8 trap, right? You know this one.
Yeah, oh,
Hopefully,
yeah.
everybody else does. For those that don't know, it's there's a few traps in cribbage where if your opponent has all faces and 5s, you can bang them up pretty good. And that you lead an 8, they play a face, then you play the 4 for 22. They're forced to play a 5 to make it 27. Then you play the 3, run for 3, go for 4. then maybe you even get like another 15 on the back end with your 5. The problem I have with this one is if you're playing a good opponent, a lot of times that you lead the 8, they'll dump the 5, or they are sharp enough to ditch the 5 on the back end of a later throw. It's just a play that it does not. I'll use it 10% of the time that I have it. I feel like so much more often, I'd rather just lead the 4 and just stay out of trouble. So it's one of those I just don't break that out very often, and that to me, this 3-3-5-5 here reeks of like that. Like I'll use it in a spot where I'm either desperate for pegs, like if I were, say, I'm 10 out and I hold 3-3-5-5 in this spot, which I wouldn't in this hand, but just hypothetically, and I cut like 2 points or something like that. I don't know what the cut would be. So I cut like a 2, and I desperately need points, and maybe I'll do that to kind of throw them off the scent. But otherwise, I feel like you're just giving away too many easy 15s, and they have to have like an exact hand in order for it to work. I'm not a fan.
Okay, fair enough.
Just take it for what it's worth. That $5 will buy you coffee at the original Starbucks in Pikes Peak in Seattle. I'm not a Starbucks person, but I feel like that's one worth thinking about. Okay, here's another one. I forget if this is one of yours or is this.
No.
I'm going to make sure. I think this came from. This is one that Mike Delaney submitted, and it was in a playoff match that he had with, I believe, with David Stats, which is a tough spot to be in. And this is an even tougher spot. So you are first count from 10 out. So you're in hole 111. Your opponent is dealing in the 110 hole. And you are dealt 2-2, 4-5, 7-9.
I hate it, but 5-7.
Wait, maybe I wrote this one down wrong. Maybe it's double 4 in this spot. Because I think we were discussing this in like the internal group or something
thought
like
we
that.
were,
This looks
but
wrong.
okay.
But yeah, this one looks like, all right, we're going to call this user error here because I feel like the 5-7 is very easy here. So we're going to pretend that one doesn't exist. Let me see if I can change this one on the spot. Now we're just going to leave the graphic up and talk about it this way. So if you have double 4, so 2-4-4, 5-7-9.
Okay, well, that's a much different scenario. So
Yeah. When I put this up, I was like, this seems too easy. It's very easy. We're gonna do this on the spot. Forget about the hand. Just gotta put it on the screen, make it look good, right? Next hand, it's gonna let me do it. No, it's not gonna let me do it. All right. Well, we can kind of talk about this hand. Here we go. So at least we get the graphic here to see it. There we go. That looks better. Forget about the position. Just it's an imperfect world. We're going to lose. So you are 11 out. Your opponent is 10 out. Or you are 10 out. Your opponent is first count. Or dealing at 11 out. God, could I say this any worse? This has gone completely off the rails. But 2-4-4, 5-7-9. What do you think here? Because this one got kind of hotly debated in the group chat. And I'm still not sure the right way to do it. And I'm also still going to try to fix this because I hate that it's not right. So go on, Terry, opine while I try to make this right. This is a painful one. This is like, and the worst is, right, you play a playoff match with somebody, especially somebody really good. You talk about like devastating wins or losses or whatever it is, right? Like you pick up a hand like this, and I just want to tank on this for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, 4-4-5-7 looks like the safe hold, right? But they're already in the 110 hole, so if you don't go out, they will most likely.
Agreed.
So I just think the deuce 4-4-5. I mean, all the outs are pretty similar. A 6 still gets you out. A 3 still gets you out. A 4 gets you out. A deuce will get you 2 from being out if you can peg 2. I just like 2-4-4-5 here. Chuck the 7-9, and I got a much better chance to peg with 2-4-4-5 than I do 4-4-5-7.
What about the 2-4-4-9 here though? It's just I think it's worth talking about, right? If you're no sense crashing with the brakes on. right? If your goal in this spot is to get out, does that give you the best opportunity to get out? Because, right, it's different if your opponent's dealing, say, at like 95 here or even 100, right? But they're 11 out. You're just assuming game over if you do not get out. Right? You have 6 before the cut. You've got what? How many cuts get you to 10 there, right? The 2, the 3, the 4, the 9, the 5 gets you to 8 points, so you only need to pick 2. What? The 6 does it as well. The 7 does it. It's just a tough one.
Yeah, honestly, 2 4 4 9 isn't a bad hold because the 3 gets you out. Any small card but an ace basically gets you out. A 5 gets you within 2. A 6 gets you within 2. A 7 gets you within 2. So I don't know. What am I more likely? What am I more likely to peg with?
So if you're holding 2 4 4 5, what are you leading, assuming that you don't cut enough to get out?
I would lead a 2 for sure with that.
Okay. Just, whether it's for those who aren't, like the in-game players or whatever, what's your, tell me your logic behind why you would lead the 2 there.
I just feel pretty confident I can get a 15 right out of the gates because they're most likely they're not going to pair my 2 in that spot. And whether it's a good player or a bad player, I just don't see them pairing it. And I would play it fast. Like my mind would be made up instantly on doing that too. So it'd be a fast lead. But I just feel like it's prime for a deuce is prime for an 8 or 9 to be played on it. And so then I would get a 15 in both scenarios. And I like keeping the 4 or 5 together just in case, a run could materialize before or after the go.
Okay. All right. I'm not opposed to that logic. I feel like I'm trying to think like how I want to navigate 2 4 4 9 if I end up cutting to say like 8 points, right? So say like you caught a 7 in that spot. Like that one, same logic. You lead the 2 and you kind of hope for the best. Maybe you just try to, maybe your opponent runs out of cards, you get to run your 4s or something like that. But it's just tough sledding on that one. The one caveat I'll give it this, and it almost like ties the show back together, right? My horrible beat that I was telling you about, I paired the 2 from Terry Weber and he tripped it and I ended up losing the game. I feel like very good players, and I'm not saying this because this is what I did in that spot, will pair 2s in those spots because there isn't a 15 to be had from it. And from what I remember from this hand, Mike Delano was playing David Stats, who's, an elite player, right? One of the best players in the East Coast. And I think that play is in Dave's bag. And I don't think that play is in everybody's bag. So just a little food for thought for maybe playing off of the 2. Like maybe if you hold 2 4 4 9 and you cut a little bit of it, you probably just leave the 9. Maybe you get lucky. Right? Maybe you trap them with a single little card or something like that. You play the 9, they play like a king, you play your 4, and they're forced to play like a 3 or something like that. Right? There's your route to winning. Or, maybe they're trapped with like a lone 4 there. So just, some ideas, some ways to get home there.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is just one of these. I feel like we could talk about this single hand for like an hour. Like we shouldn't. It would not make for great programming. But
are you gonna peg better with 2 4 4 5 or 2 4 4 9?
Probably 2 4 4 9. I think my caveat, like the reason why I don't love the 2 4 4 5 there is just the cuts. I don't think like the face card cuts, I don't think really help you there, right? You still got to peg 4, and that's pretty difficult. So I feel like I need to cut to at least 8 to have a chance here. And I just don't like like my chances of pegging 4 points with 2, 4, 4, 5. Yes, it could work perfectly where you play the the 2, and then you get the quick 15, and then maybe like you get a 31 on the back end, but it just seems unlikely to me.
Okay.
Right, like at that point, if you cut a face card of 2, 4, 4, 5, like maybe you go the wacky Terry route and you leave the 5, and you lay your hopes on just trying to get tripping a 4 is your way to win that game. So
Yeah, I don't think I would do it that way in this case, but
yeah,
yeah, it's a tough hand. So
yeah, it's just a brutal. I don't even remember like what happened. I think when Voldemort sent it in the group text, like I don't remember what he said about like the result. I just remember seeing that and just being like, wow, like I would sit and take my time on that. And for the record, like for anybody listening, I don't begrudge anybody in a playoff match for like taking their time in a spot like this. Right? If
right.
you abuse that privilege and every hand you're taking a minute, 2 full minutes to actually think about it, um, then that's not cool. Especially if like you have matches waiting on you or something like that. But like if you have somebody that gives you crap for taking your time in a spot like this, just tell them to go to hell is what I would say. Like it is. I think it is reasonable for somebody to take a couple minutes to run through what they want to do in these spots, assuming there isn't something egregious going on.
I'll usually apologize halfway through if it's taking me time. I'm like, just be patient. It's a tough call here. And if they're a decent enough player, they'll be able to see after the fact, like, oh, yeah, that was kind of hard.
Yeah, yeah. Usually you say something to your opponent, "Hey, I've got a real thinker here. Give me a minute," right? And then they say no problem and this and that. I did have somebody do the fake snore on me once when I was in a spot like this, and I was nonplussed. But it depends on how well you know the person. So
If they're
like
just goofing around, I wouldn't care. But
if I know the person, one of my favorite lines is when somebody's thinking about like a somebody's thinking about a play, right? So say I don't know, they lead like a 6 and I put an 8 on it. All of a sudden they start thinking about it, right? The count's 14. I'll just say, "Is it a go?"
yeah,
just that's my line that I'll use on that. But I need to know the person and have them make sure they understand that it's just being silly or whatever it is. But yeah, in a serious spot, that's not when I would break out. So
yeah.
right. Well, that's all the hands we have for this week. Well, Terry, again, I expect to see some hardware like on your trip back. Big belt, all these other things. Hopefully, from our funds on this show, we inspire some people to maybe investigate some new trophies. I'm still not expecting like a ribeye to be happening anytime soon. At some point, it's you see how like bare my walls are behind me. It looks like I'm in like prison or something like that. I need to have somebody like glam up my space. So maybe that'll be a side project sometime in the near future with some of these trophies or something.
How long you been there?
In this house? Oh,
Yeah.
like years, like 7, 8 years now.
You got plenty of time to dress it up.
You're 100% right. This has only been my home office for like a couple of years, and we've only podcasted for like X long. I do have things on the walls. Like I should do a walkthrough at some point. But like I have the framed picture, and there's like a bookcase like behind me. So this room is not dead empty. It's just I haven't done the glam landscape or whatever it is, or like all these CEOs had like people like set up their Zoom background during the pandemic, and that's not really like how I've done it here. It's just no, it's just me. I'm here. There are things on my desk. There's like a plant and I don't know. I mean, fidget toys up the wazoo. Like I've got all kinds of things to just do my stuff with. Just not super pretty. I wasn't expecting it to be YouTube podcasting anytime soon when I set this up.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I do the bastard show, this table's on wheels. It's like a workbench, and the reason I bought it was because it was on wheels. But I sit over there, so that's my background.
Okay.
When
For those not watching, Terry's got a big flag that says "Bastards of Boston, established 2017" up on his wall. So
yeah,
this is
so
like a Cribs. This is like a like the MTV4 Cribs, like
yeah.
it's the low of the low. Like it's instead of having like Genuine or whoever it is show their places, it's you and me and cribbage players. It's be like the lowest rated show in the history of television, I think.
Actually, let me see. You can see a bracket on the wall behind my
Yep.
TV there. That's
Okay.
I've talked about that on the air before, but my first tournament win, they didn't really have trophies that weekend, and
Oh, all right.
and that was before challenge. And I just asked them. I said, could I take the bracket with me? Would that be okay? I'd never seen anyone else do it, and Vicky Soul was like, yeah, absolutely, go ahead and take it. So my girlfriend at the time framed it for me, and that's probably one of the coolest cribbage things I have. And I played Bruce Sattler in the final of that one.
Oh,
And
yeah. You gotta send me a picture of that. I'll send it to Bruce like all day. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. That's where they hold on to. I have a game, a slip of a playoff match that I had with Bruce, and
Okay.
I beat him 3-0.
Oh
and
yeah.
and I did for a little bit. I kept it in my wallet and I broke it out on him once and had to show it to him. So that's one to keep in the
Just set it
record
right
books.
there and play the game. Let them look at
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Just let him know. Let him know. So
Or you could laminate it and make it a name tag type thing and just put it on. That's what I
just
would do.
make like 10,000 copies of it and throw it out of the back of the airplane like it's like I'm trying to go through the stuff. But yeah, all right. Well, I got nothing else to add to this show. Terry, I hope your trip is great and plentiful. I expect plenty of updates right down the hands so that we've got some good situations here to run through. Where did we fall on the final agreement on so your final answer was 7-9 on the previous hand, by the way, just as we kind of keep the tallies here.
Yeah, so it's and I don't think I marked that one. So we've agreed on 8, disagreed on 5 in the last 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. That's it's not bad. That's like
Feel
60 something percent. Like
Feels like higher than normal, but
it's higher than what we agree on food. So okay, just out of curiosity, by the way, as I write it down, of my 4 appetizers, you would co-sign any of them other than spinach artichoke? You would have mozzarella sticks, soft pretzels, and wings.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. So there you go. We agreed 7 out of 8 on the food part too. So
All right.
we're gonna call that a win for the week. So.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to sign off for the evening. Good luck to everybody who's playing this weekend, including and especially Terry. Yeah, everybody pick well. Have a great week.